What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Trading Live with Bubba. Market's a little bit anxious today after yesterday's relatively weak rally. It still looks like we might get a rip your face off rally here, maybe even today. There's been a couple of attempts. I think one of the key things to look at is with the markets getting hammered, the VIX is lower. That's always a sign that maybe the bottom's in for temporarily. Again, I think you'll find and see that we are well below the 200-day moving average in pretty much most markets, so that's not good. That's pretty ugly. And that's the old saying, the bears live below the 200-day, the bulls live above, and so certainly the sellers are in control. You just missed a trade. It wasn't a big deal. It's not like it's a major winner, but we did have a trade here in gold that I had right before we came online here. But we'll see if anything shows up. Again, we're not going to give in to temptation and not take it and make a trade just to make a trade. We're going to continue to, do what we do, and as be patient enough to wait for it. So we're going to just watch this for a couple of seconds, and we'll switch over and take a look at some of the other things. Gold looks like it's going to make a run at 3,000 today. That'd probably be a pretty good selling opportunity. Normally, big hole numbers are opportunities to sell. Remember, we're not talking about it forever. We're talking about very short term here. Maybe getting something here in the notes. Other than that, there isn't much really going on. So we'll just have to sit and be patient and wait and see. Gold's not going to get there this time. I don't think it could. We'll watch. We got a couple of minutes to check it out. Okay. So at the end of the day, that's really what we're watching and looking for. We are getting a little bit of a rally in the indexes right now, but we can't seem to get all the way back. So that's, I think if we can get in the positive territory, you could see a major run. Now we are still down quite a bit, so it's not like it's around the corner. Gold potentially giving us to get something. Notes, nothing. Index is nothing right now. So again, it looks like it's going to be relatively quiet, but we'll wait out the extra minute and a half here just to see if something does turn on here. But again, we are getting just a little bit of a rally. But again, we need a skyrocket, and you could rally substantially and still be in a negative market. Okay, so I think it's something to keep an eye on. We are really, if you said do one thing, I'd be looking to sell rallies that were substantial, but we'll see how it works out. In the meantime, it doesn't appear like we're going to get anything here. Everything is kind of relatively flattish. So let's take a look, and we'll come back to this shortly. You can see gold just made an all-time new high. Very overbought. I would be a seller at 3,000. In fact, I am personally, just full disclosure, working orders at 3,000. Okay. So again, I want to make sure that you get that point, and know where we are. Okay. Again, it's something to be aware of. Just hold on one second. I'm trying to catch on to something. Okay. And at the end of the day, we'll see what it looks like. But as we take a look at some of our stocks we watch, Apple is now again still in that oversold area. Certainly one to look at. Now again, you have some numbers coming out. You've got some quiet here, so we may want to wait and be patient enough to look at it. Again, I think that I'm not in a hurry to jump in any real trades right now. I want to be more passive, but I will take advantage of what I think is our high probability spots. So that's something that we're going to look at. In the meantime, I'm looking at something else real quick. I got a lot of open positions as well. Coin, has come off the bottoms a little bit. Really not much. We talked about it Tuesday. Once again, there's not anything that has to be done. Again, the biggest thing we have going for us is patience. Okay, to wait for the opportunities that we want to see. We certainly don't want to be, chasing into a market, and we don't want to get desperate to make a trade. I think we have to, again, always be prepared for what is next. And of course, crowd, which had a huge move off the other day, which we talked about, a little bit of a pullback, but there's really nothing to do right here. I think it's something to be aware of. Okay. And hold on 1 second. So I think it is something to be, aware of overall. And I think that at the end of the day, I think that's something that is important to understand. Another 1 second for me, please. Okay, 1 second. I got one thing to do here. Sorry, guys. Okay, 1 more second. Okay, so crowd, there's really nothing to do. Meta, once again, getting clobbered. We did get the bounce. Not much to do. Let's go back to the main screen and see if anything is happening here. Potentially something happening in crude here as a potential trade. We'll see what that looks like. And nothing else. Virtually, you can see gold is sideways. Crude would be a potential trader. Let's see where it looks like. Stop would be right now 66.31. If we get a trade, we have no trade as of yet. And of course, the markets have just flipped over. Once again, this is what we're seeing. However, the VIX is not participating, but we are on our lows pretty much across the board. And we're still waiting for an opportunity here to buy crude. And is anything else developing while we are here? No. All right. So crude would be the potential trade, but we don't have a trade yet. We need to get we need a green bar to give us that trade, and our stop would be at it's at 66.23 now, but we still don't have a trade. Okay. We're gonna have to wait for another minute here. Okay, this looks like we may get an opportunity here with a stop at 66.23. Got to wait out the next 20 seconds, though. Again, we need the bar to confirm. And we don't have confirmation yet, so we still have to wait. We probably need like 96 or 97. There you go. So let's see if it closes here. And you can go ahead and make that trade if you want with a stop at 66.24. 4. And then, of course, you're going to work, if you have multiples on, which you should, I'm going to work to sell one at 07 and one at 17, and then I'll play with the rest. But once I get filled on one, if I do, then we will go to break even in the entirety of the trade. Okay, that's one of the things that we're right now with the conditions that we're trading in, which are very slow and very challenging. We're much quicker to move our stops because of the lack of overall activity. So it's something just to keep in mind. Right now we're a tiny winner, but not a lot. Again, we should be getting a quicker reaction off of that. We are not, which doesn't mean that it won't work. It just means that it's going to change the overall thinking of how we're going to handle it and what we're going to do. Meantime, we're right about even. Again, it's just sitting here, which is not what our expectations would be. So let's just see if anything else is happening here. Okay. So really nothing is going on right now. We're not getting any reaction. I'm going to go ahead and tell you to take your small profit right here. Okay. You got a small profit, just take it. We're going to close the trade. I'm not going to sit with it and wait. Okay. So we'll take that small profit and anything else developing. No, not really. Again, it's not that exciting. So we'll take the small profit. We'll go back and see what's going on over here. Google needs to be under pressure. We sold the other day. This is right. We're short the 162.50, 160 put spread, so we're still in okay shape, but obviously getting a little bit dangerously close. IWM, which did work the other day, we did get the bounce. Here we are, not in the same position. Okay, so we would be looking here, certainly for a little bit lower before we'd want to sell some put spreads. Microsoft, which we put on the other day, is working fine. Okay, but again, we are getting dangerously close in many of these. MSTR, not much going on here. Okay, so we'll see what happens there. Nugget, obviously skyrocketing higher here. I would sell call spreads if I were going to do that. Again, I'm not anxious. I'd like to see. I think gold is actually going to hit 3,000 today. It's setting up to do so. So I'm going to be much more cautious, and you can just take a look here. You can see it just kind of exploding. Okay, new highs, and I think that the whole number should hold it. So we'll see. Again, I'm not going to be very active today. Nvidia, perfectly from off of what we did the other day. The Qs hovering once again. Here I would look at it, but again, I'm not overly anxious or overly excited. XWZ, which is square or black, has resolved itself, okay, and is working the way we expected. Tesla continues to get clobbered, okay, and there's nothing to do there though because they had a little bit of a rally. Win, nothing to do, and Zoom, really nothing to do. So you can see it's kind of pretty quiet everywhere. I think what we really need now is what we call a rip your face off rally. You're watching the overall markets. They're kind of giving up the ghost again. Certainly, we could potentially get something here in the 10-year. We could get a trade in gold, but we don't have enough volume. And again, it's a very important thing to understand that volume is one of the key things that we need to make the trade worthwhile. Okay, without the volume, we don't get the opportunity. Okay, because you're not getting the emotional side of the other traders. That's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to take advantage of the emotions of others, either those that are panicking or those that are chasing. And by the volume, you can tell that there's really no panic in the sell-off. The sell-off, although lower, is fairly orderly. Okay, and the rallies are fairly orderly as well. So we're not seeing much emotion to this market. So there's not a lot for us to want to get involved in, because again, we're not getting the edge. The whole scheme behind trading is trying to get the edge to the market. And right now there is not a lot of edge to get to. Okay. So if we cannot get the edge, then what's the point of trading? Okay, because even with the edge, we don't always, doesn't mean we always make money, but we need to have, the more trades we can make, the more money we can make. Okay. Again, I'd rather hit 70% on 10 trades than 100% on one trade. Okay. I'd rather have more opportunities because that means that there's more opportunities to make money and the profits are bigger. Just like it's just like the crude trade we just got out of. Okay. I mean, it's still right where we got out, basically. So we're sitting here with nothing to do. You've got a potential coming in the notes. It would be a reach, and I'm not interested in reaching. You've got some potentials down here, but again, you're not getting the quick flush or whatever. So there's no bargain here right now. Okay. And I think that's something that you have to pay attention to is when there is no bargain, why get involved? That is something that you have to always keep in mind and remember. If you're not getting an opportunity, yeah, they could work, but I don't care if they work. I need to be consistent in the way that we approach the market all the time. Okay. Now, again, this is one style of trade. There are other styles of trade that you can use. Maybe we'll start covering some of the ratio stuff we do. We cover stuff on our weekend show and other things, but maybe we can talk about that. If bring that as part of this, because obviously we haven't had any real action. I mean, I think we've had about 5 trades in the last 5 weeks in the time we're together here. So it makes it much more challenging. Certainly, again, if I wanted to reach, I'm not going to, but a reach would be selling the notes here. Okay, it would be a reasonable trade, but I'm not interested. Okay, I'd rather sit it out on the sidelines and wait. Okay, that's more what I see. I want to see that panic for in this particular trade. Again, there's many different styles of trade. For this style of trade, I want to see that panic and that movement. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And if I'm not getting that, then I'm not interested. Okay, that's the whole key, is the ability to not trade if there's not much to do. And I don't see a lot to do. We're trading at volumes I haven't seen for forever. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll just call it a day. Look to sell gold if it gets to 3,000. And remember, I do an update every morning before the markets for about 2 minutes. So have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here on Tuesday.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.